fake Jew, they'll probably say it's strangers or point at you. Original Jews are not falashas, that means stranger. We work about Allah masters. Caucasoid Jew will tell you about niggas, or where he stole the bat and bar mitzvahs. He won't say he's a Zionist. Kwame Ture says blue is the Jewish flag and UN beret. Yarmulke Jews ahead of the religious boule to legitimize their stance in the expulsion play. Expelled with Moors at the fall of Granada, solidified the reparations and moved to Canada. Satan's synagogue smells like kosher swine. JTF propagate your mind, saying they from Israel and from Palestine. Never got charged for the slave tax collecting crime. Ask about their involvement in black plagues and the black massacres and Rheinfleisch massacres. Religious, ritualistic, fake mystics used to kidnap young boys and girl Christians for Talmud, to Tammuz and sacrifice. Ashkenazi live off others like parasites. Blood sucking, taking heads off the top like muffins. Moses being a Mennonite is no assumption. Hook-nosed Jew from Ashkenaz back to the cave. Moors return, you Moriscos back to the slave. No need to worry, karmic debt been paid. When rise upset, sunblock won't get you saved. Hook-nosed Ashkenaz back to the cave. Moors return, you Christians back to the slave. No need to worry, the karmic debt been paid. When rise upset with sunblock, you won't be saved. Ask a pilgrim Christian who ran the crusade mission. Most hear the pastor, but to God they won't listen. The holy book is poison to the hearts of men and minds. Christ we can't find because they martyr them, stone them, take their DNA and clone them to do their will, like boys of Brazil. Quoting men thoughts from their head in red ink, making feasts from 2 fish and 5 bread with no drink. Bible says burnt grass, pictures so off pink, which show you just follow and don't read or think. Parables deciphered, Nicaean writers control the world now with ones and ciphers. The age of info can make your daughter an info. Following the role models to remove pimples. Mind control the puppets with Christmas jingles. Moors want cheese and cream like craft singles. Sellouts see inside chambers where gas mingles. I said Celeste is not God, the Rosh tremble, watching me funny. In 2 minutes he's watching me bummy. Got vexed and took his split from me. Hook-nosed Jew from Ashkenaz back to the cave. Moors return, Moriscos back to the slave. No need to worry, karmic debt been paid. When rise upset with sunblock, you won't be saved. Canaanland been reclaimed by the Moors. We got our own flag back, so we giving back yours. Give back your rituals and your Babylon ways. Take your ark and leave the rainbow flag to the gaze. Indigenous, foreigners devious. Know it's the consolation when I say it's serious. How serious you ask? Come out the water like normal. Of my mom's womb, gave the doctor my promo. George dropped when I enter. The world present a knapsack. On a quest with no try-fight for abstract. Shoot with stars, no black gats, screw the bars. Whether it's jail or a chocolate penis, call Mars. Penis eaters, house the nuts and caramel. I'm not amused without the park and the spinning carousel. Give back your rituals and your Babylon ways. Give me back my ark, leave the flag to the gaze. Hook-nosed Jew from Ashkenaz back to the cave. Moors return, you Moriscos back to the slave. No need to worry, karmic debt been paid. When rise upset, sunblock won't get you saved. Hook-nosed Ashkenaz back to the cave. Moors return, you Christians back to the slave. No need to worry, the karmic debt been paid. When rise upset with sunblock, you won't be saved. Rainbow flag to the gaze. Give back your ritual and your Babylon ways. Get back to the cave. Moors return, back to the slave. The karmic debt been paid. No matter how much sunblock, no matter how much sunblock, you won't be saved.
Islam Moors, welcome once again, Canaanland Moors class, Tuesday nights, every Tuesday from 7 to 9 p.m. right here, Ustream, Canaanland Moors channel, MHT Online Kananta. Islam to all the Moors worldwide, peace and love. I want to say Islam to the Moors in Panama. We got a call yesterday, day before or something like that, from some Moors in Panama that's, studying, giving honors to all the Moors out there who, are inspiring them to know the truth about their nationality and birthrights in Panama. People who think that, we're not Moors, we're all this other stuff. So I got a call from a brother And this is kind of what inspired today's class, because we really weren't going to do nothing with it, but we realized that because the conscious community died in 2016, December 31st, that people are going to try new ways to be slick and try to discredit what it is that, we're really supposed to be about. So the brother asked the question, well, how come Moors aren't teaching the stuff like what the Wonder Twins are teaching, right? How come the Moors aren't telling us the stuff that they're talking about or whatever, right? Now, me personally, like, I come from cartoon era, right? And if you come from cartoon era, you know who the Wonder Twins are, right? And if you know who the Wonder Twins are, you know that one's a male and one's a female. So for somebody to come out talking crazy about, some new twins on the scene, because clearly, the other twins aren't really riding with certain stuff anymore or whatever. They're doing their own thing. They got a new channel, Mantis Views 29, that they're, putting out the reel on now. They have to find substitutes to try to keep the propaganda game going. And it's very interesting that these individuals, which are two men, but they call themselves Wonder Twins, which is a brother and sister tag team, superhero tag team. But then you have these two brothers calling themselves Wonder Twins, but they're both males. Stuff is really suspect right now, as far as I'm concerned, in this thing called the unconscious community. Because conscious community died, don't forget. Nationality is the order of the day. If you are stateless, then you're part of unconscious community. You shouldn't be talking, you shouldn't be doing classes, you shouldn't be having an opinion about anything, because clearly you're incompetent. These individuals went on Frank Gary's channel talking about, Noble Drew Ali was a Hebrew Israelite, right? They said that Noble Drew Ali was a Hebrew Israelite. So I was going to do a video about it, but then I had a brilliant idea of, let's really ask somebody who's qualified with regard to this, Hebrews and Moors and stuff like that, and see where, what they're going to put on the record again, because this is a dead horse that we have to continually be beating because people choose not to study, right? So we're going to go, before we do the questions, we're going to go into some of the claims that these guys made on their little try to denationalize Noble Drew Ali campaign about he's a Hebrew Israelite. And we're going to bring one of our good teachers in to just give us a little bit, insight, some things to consider with regard to, is Noble Drew Ali a Hebrew Israelite? So make sure you get your pens and stuff, because you already know how it's going to go. Islam, more.
Islam, Cujo, how's it going?
Everything's peaceful. Everything's peaceful.
Yeah, good.
As you've already dealt with this topic on numerous occasions, but
yes,
there might be some things that people would want to consider with regard to this connection between Moors and Hebrew Israelites. And are Moors Hebrew Israelites? Are Hebrew Israelites Moors? What's the confusion with the people getting this concept corrected?
Well, let's first, one thing that we can do, and this is for the listeners, is to understand, before European colonial operations in the Western Hemisphere, that all African people were referred to as Moors, as common. That's common, and any scholar already knows that. And also, anyone who knows anything about the Moriscos and the Conversos, those are Moors who are traders. And that's where the black and Negro gang came in. So usually a Morisco is usually the ones that the Europeans approach to discredit their own history because they hate their own bloodline, meaning that translation they sold out. And anyone can go to a basic high school
Right.
You familiar with that?
Yes.
All right. And the principal, now William Dungy was actually, Portuguese or Portuguese descent, but when you know the history and you know the Renaissance, you know that the Moors, were all over Europe. And that's from Al-Andalus, which is later called Spain, as well as Italia and Portugal, that whole area. And so scholars already know that Africans and Moors are really the same people. So when people are talking about the Moors as if it's a club, they're already speaking from third-person perspective. And in psychology, that's called a person who is suffering cognitive dissonance, or from a sociological bloodline position, disassociation. From a political position, when it comes to the operations of law and heritability, such persons are considered stateless and non-heritable and are held in wardship tenures and in civil liter mortuus, for they're declared outside of the families of nations, which is, of course, the bad treatment that many of our people have been getting, that they've been calling racism, which is the wrong term, because it really is a stateless person. And persons who consistently practice anti-constitutional principles in relationship to structured nations are called psychopathic constitutional inferiority complex. Now that's a law term that anybody can find. But let's talk about the Abraham Lincoln. Before he was president in 1855, he did the slander case for William Dungy. And for those who are listening, listen very carefully. There was a slander case in 1855 that Lincoln litigated in DeWitt County in Illinois. And keep in mind, you gotta remember the triangle, our traveling triangle, all up in that area, because we used to meditate by the Great Lakes, etc. But let's talk about the law case right now. In May to October of 1855, there was a law case, a slander case, where William Dungy, who was of Portuguese descent, he married a European woman whose brother's name was Joseph Spencer. And in those days, a lot of Europeans were going through the processes of claiming our land in different parts, etc. And this is where they were using what is known as the unum sanctum policy, as well as the doctrine of discovery, to claim land under Inquisition operations. And you'll notice that a lot of land claims that are made by Europeans in North America is litigated under what they call the doctrine of discovery. But anyway, there was a family quarrel, and Joseph Spencer, the European, went around town slandering William Dungy, who they nicknamed Black Bill, and saying that he was a Negro. So anyway, in the Illinois Republic, there were what you would call slander laws, and it was very important for one's status to be intact. Because if your status was dead, you were subject to a lot of mistreatments. And of course, as you already know, in the rule of descendability, one of the reasons why they had always practiced using nom de guerre and pseudonym on our people was to kill their status and have the corporate state, on behalf of the Europeans, escheat the estate. And that has been the practice here, past and even up to present day. And one of the things that Lincoln had said, every man is said to have its peculiar ambition, and I have no other so great as that of being truly esteemed of my fellow man. Now, so Lincoln filed the lawsuit against William Spencer, and his lawyers were named Clifton H. Moore and Lawrence Weldon. They were also Europeans. They were defending Joseph Spencer. But the outcome of the case was this. And Spencer's argument by using humor and also to persuade the jury that there was reasonable doubt as to William Dungy's race, because you already know that they used the tags as race. Now, Lincoln stated to the jury, my client is not a Negro. Though it is a crime to be a Negro, there is no crime to be born with a black skin. But my client is not a Negro. His skin may not be white as ours, but I say he is not a Negro, though he may be a Moor. And Mr. Lincoln, Judge Davis had interrupted Lincoln, smirking with a smirk on his face, to retain his smile, and he says, you mean Moor? That's M-O-O-R, and not Moore, M-O-R-E, which is the humor, because Clifton H. Moore was one of the lawyers, attorneys for Spencer.
Right.
And it continued where he says, Lincoln said to Judge Davis, well, Your Honor, Moore, M-O-O-R, not Clifton H. Moore, replied Lincoln with a sweep of his long arm toward the table where Moore and the other attorney sat. And he said, I said that my client may be a Moor, but he is not a Negro, Abraham Lincoln. And he won the suit because of some slander, because those tags and brands makes a person non-descendable. And so he won the suit for 600 notes, and $600 at the time, because they were using actual, money at that time. And he charged Dundee a $25 fee, etc. Now that's with the Dungy case, and there was a couple of other cases that Lincoln did in the same vein. Mm-hmm. So when a lot of these people that claim to be scholars pretend that they don't know that our people are Moors, you already know that they're either COINTELPRO operative or they're, like you said again, unqualified, because they themselves are stateless persons.
Right. Now, when we look at we were talking earlier about the whole lineage with regard to the Moors and the lineage with regard to the Hebrews, and you made a statement that Hebrew is not a lineage. Could you just elaborate on that?
Yes, and this is back to even like if one goes into, as an example, even if you go into the Quran, you will see the Circle 7 Quran, and you go into history, and even it's a perfect. I'm glad you brought that up, because it's a perfect example. Rahm Emanuel, he worked for the Obama administration. He ran for mayor of Chicago, and he's a Jew, and he tells the history of the estate, including of Noble Drew Ali. And as you can see, and he doesn't have what you would say a compromised position, and he's telling the history, so you can see even in that evidence that the so-called many of these so-called black leader guys are traitors, as well as COINTELPRO operatives, and they pretend they don't know this information. So even the Pope Francis gives a synopsis of the history even after the Civil War, where when he wrote to Obama and expunged the licenses of the lawyers and the barristers, etc., and says about the United States Corporation Company and makes reference even to the Shell Corporation United States that they continue to make and back their treasury bonds on the backs of the defeated Moors, branded as African Americans from the Civil War, which is the basis of United States T-bonds to this very day. And scholars know that too, but they stay away from that because they can't get their 501c3 skull and bones kickback agreement. But anyway, keep in mind, and this is back to the other issue. Many people keep saying that when they're talking about Hebrew Israelites, many people don't know that Hebrew actually comes from Ibri, and Ibri is the name of the Moors, of the Moabite Canaanites, people who crossed the river that's when the Atlantis was still a large river before the cocoa plates shifted in Central America that caused what is known today the continental drift. And so that is a known factor. This is why when you see many of the scholars, some of the European scholars as well as Asiatic scholars, and they talk about the ancient Canaanites and Moabites that were on this land before Columbus. And also when they talk about Old Mexum, they'll say Olmec. And it is well known by all scholars of the world that they're the oldest people on this land. And it's not a secret, you know, but again, when you have people who have an agenda, you know, for subversion, working for, you know, COINTELPRO operations, you expect them to appeal to people who don't study. But anyone knows who studies can find that out. So it's not really, it's almost like arguing with a donkey. You know, after a while, they'll start getting confused whether you're a donkey or not, because you're arguing with someone who doesn't study, and so it's like, it's no different than arguing with a retarded person. After a while, it doesn't make sense to argue with them.
Right. Now, couple statements, because I don't know if you saw the well, you probably didn't see the self-mutilation that these guys are doing to themselves, but they made some statements that they just want to get your perspective on. One statement they made was that the lineage of the Moabites doesn't run through Ruth. The lineage is run through the seed. So throw away all that root stuff and start connecting yourself to Boaz and Abraham and all that stuff. What, could you speak on that?
Well, look at it like this: Boaz and Ruth are married. You want to look at it that way? Because they're all Canaanites and Moabites. It's all, you know, it's almost like, and I recognize how a lot of people can get confused with it, because they've been looking at, say, when they're looking at the Septuaginta or the Bible, in their mind, instead of looking at history books, and as well as cosmology books dealing with activations of lands, etc., as well as cosmology, they're looking them as prayer books, or what they've been calling religion, and they usually take the Europeans' view of converting the science into dogma and presenting the dogma as religion, and then promoting it as a belief when they don't understand genetics. When it is common knowledge, even amongst some of your most well-known mystic schools and what they call ancient schools of ancient Egypta, which they call Egypt, one of the first lessons they get is of Ruth the Moabitess. And those are the same people that have been ruling, etc., both of these Asiatics and the Europeans up into this modern day. And they refer themselves as keepers of the North Gate, which you already know is Northwestern Mexico.
Islam. Oh, they said that Noble Drew Ali would have been assassinated sooner if he had disclosed that the Moors were actually Hebrews. But he said that the Moors were Moors because if he said Hebrews, that would have given away too much about the true identity of Asiatics in America.
Noble Ali, the history of the Moors, Noble Ali always preserved and taught to the Moors who were studied for a short while and showed themselves approved and competent, and then they would go into what you call the Chamber of Adepts, which is standard in all what you call advanced schools of philosophies all over the world. And so that's a false statement. As well, now, as far as the record shows where Drew Ali said, he said this. He said, we're really Jews, we don't use that name because the European has corrupted it and has been using it. He didn't say that we're Hebrew Israelites, but we know what that means. It is those who cross the river, and people have converted the Kabbalistic degree of the jewel. That means those who bear the knowledge, and that's actually a Gnostic degree, into dogma and presented it as a religion.
So with
And
the
then he uses it as a religion on the next, at 1 minute, and then on the next minute saying it's an identity, and then going stealing land when actually they're Khazarians.
so it's relative to people taking the action word God and making it a being. Same way they took
Yes,
Hebrew.
exactly. And it's back to even when you're dealing with Skull and Bones operatives and Illuminati operatives, John D. Rockefeller and Frederick T. Gates, when they set up the General Education Board in 1902 after the assassination of Queen Winona in Philadelphia area, which is Shakamoxon, and set up that docile system, including approaching the so-called conversos or moriscos, and that's those so-called leaders that choose to call themselves people of color, knowing that they're Moors, and usually some preacher, and they would be taken into the Masonic order, given the secret history, given a Moorish fez, tying the tassel down, and they go out and start talking about colored people and black and brown people and stuff like that in order to steal the people's birthright, which makes them in law not descendable. And a lot of that diatribe is passed down to such persons. But on another point, keep in mind, when you're dealing with the triangle, the Great Triangle up near the Great Lakes where we used to meditate, near Lake Michigan, and so near the Kankakee River, near the Fox River, and up Michigan, and this is just below Lake Michigan, where you have one of our cities, which is Morocco, and then you have to the southwest Muhammad, and then to the east you have Indianapolis, and then you have the holy mountain of Harmonics in that area, and this is where we used to do a lot of our meditation, and so also this is the area where a lot of people of the different tribes gathered, and this was common with us, and this is where your area of what they call Anaanasi has its origin, and where the principles of the ancient Moors set the foundation for even the principles of maxims of law in a colonial principle that's adopted to the American Constitution today that Obama was talking about. And so, scholars know that too. And so, a lot of Europeans would talk about, as again, they used to refer to a lot of Moors as Ishmael, with the tribe of Ben Ishmael,
Right.
who is also called, Oscar McCullough, and that was a general term that the Europeans would use, and a lot of Asiatics adopted that after that. And around 1888 in that area, they started writing about the Moors, and also as they were doing even in Lower Egypt, which we call Kentucky and Tennessee area, amongst the Seminole Moors and the Yamasee Moors, and like my family is Anayamuya, which you call Cherokee, and the Tuscarooskas too. And so all of us was in that area, including a lot of the Mandinkas, and these were the few of some of the people that came on ships, but most of us were already here. 98% of the people of Asiatic African descent was already here, including Matoraka, that people keep telling is Pocahontas, and she was a potentess, and even when they were hanging her picture in the Senate, they spoke of the pearls, some of the pearls that she used to use, and it's very clearly, when anyone looks at the record, that she was Muslim, and everybody knows that, but people keep on misrepresenting, because they keep selling out to the Europeans, because the Europeans will support their black groups with their corporate payoff, and logically it's not of their interest to admit, because when people start acknowledging their estate, it makes the T-bonds pay bad paper, and then nations start dumping them T-bonds because the heirs of the estate have to continue to demonstrate incompetence or what you call the minority state of mind in order for them bonds to have any good. And by people becoming conscious on such a large scale, nations of the earth are now starting to dump U.S. corporation T-bonds who've been imitating as a country with the help of some of their so-called quote black leader guys who've been selling their own people out. And that's really the party of people amongst us that usually these people have their origin.
Islam. And one last question. Noble Drew Ali founding the Canaanite temple. Now, when we speak to Hebrew Israelites, they deny that they're Canaanite. So I'm not sure where they were going with saying that Noble Drew Ali is Canaanite.
Let's look at this. Let's look at this. And I'm not knocking them because I know a lot of the brothers. A lot of them mean well. But I would suggest that they do a little bit more research, particularly those who just come on board, and because we all are coming back to our culture. So they are coming back to the culture, and I commend them for that, and I support that. But I also support that they should study a little more, because they would find out that they're misusing the Hebrew, because the Hebrew is really a corruption and a modern term used by Europeans. It is derived from Ibri, which is the Moabites, Canaanites who crossed the river. That's documented. They should do a little bit more research and stop making arguments without research. But because a lot of the things that we did have been converted into dogma and presented to the public as religion for mind control and social solace systems, many of our people, having been groomed under the Christian dogma for so many generations, come back to the culture with that same so-called Christianized mentality, and that's how they look at the books. And so they look at the information from the perspective that the European has presented it without having gone to the Adam chamber to know the real history. And this is what has contaminated some of the thought processes. And so many of them are coming from a position of what they actually believe, but not from a position of knowledge. And so we have to work together to try to overcome that and share information with them so that we can all come together and honor our mothers and fathers and reclaim our lost estate.
So once we present the truth that is based on our study into others, and their position is to remain where they are, it's time to pretty much just.
And it's like this from the Europeans' position, because this is what remember, this is what Calvin Coolidge said, even with J. Edgar Hoover, when they set up the COINTELPRO operations. Said, given this, and he said that to Noble Drew Ali when he made them take the flag out of the vaults. He says, giving these niggers back Islam would be like putting a pair of pants on a horse. However, if you can get 500 to follow you, I'll back you with my Army and Navy. And of course, it was millions, including with the support and help of Marcus Mosiah Garvey, who was teaching government structure, and then they accelerated their COINTELPRO operations, which they don't admit to until later. And this is where the tradition of the infiltration of all of the Asiatic and Moorish organizations have been infiltrated. And by force, they dispersed all of the Moors up in the area of the Great Triangle, etc. And so many people who have picked up some of the information from Ben Ismail, have taken the dogmatic perspective, and I understand it because that's the way it's been taught to the people, but they need to understand that the books are all Kabbalistic. And one of the unfortunate things that we have is that preachers, reverends, imams, grand sheikhs, and rabbis have not been telling their followers that all of those books are Kabbalistic, and for you to understand them, you must also teach the anthropomorphic basis upon how the systems were taught to children, and how when they grow up, they're exposed to the anthropomorphic and Kabbalistic and Gnostic background of all the books. And if they don't have that as a footnote, most of the people keep taking the books with the idea of dogma as a religion, and this is pretty much why the European is still ruling right now, because he knows that their concepts are wrong. And this is why the Europeans and a lot of other Asiatics who are actually secret members or Masons getting paid off by the Europeans, why they spend so much energy attacking New Raleigh.
So with regard to the perspective of Asiatics in America making a claim with regard to the Kabbalistic teachings, what they're
and this is what we want to also recognize and be clear on. When we say Asiatics in America, we have to get clear with all of our people that the Asiatics are the Americans.
Right. Right.
You know, this is again why, like, where scholars would have the early versions of the books, including the Webster's, dictionaries of the early years, and it tells them that that the Asiatics are the copper complexion people, not Europeans.
Right. So when we look at the history of expelling the Moors out of Spain, it's when they say that they expelled the Moors and the Jews, the reason why they say that they expelled the Jews and not the Hebrew Israelites, because there's no such thing as Hebrew Israelites.
That's the whole point. They expelled the Moors and Yahudi, and the Yahudi is dialectically referred to as
Jews, right?
And everybody knows there's no J in Hebrew.
Right.
As a matter of fact, the word J was not even used in language until the 1500s, and then not solemnly until 1700.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, the other fact of it is, when the Moors ruled in what is called Spain, it was Al-Andalus. It wasn't even called Spain until after the fall of the Red House
Right.
in 1492. And so when they're writing the history of the Moors in Spain, that's actually a misrepresentation, because when the Moors ruled, it wasn't called Spain.
Right.
It was called Al-Andalus.
Islam. We got about 13 people online, but then we also are going to be uploading this to YouTube. So, you want any closing comments for the listeners?
I would tell the listeners, just like I said earlier, study the case with the William Dungy case of 1855. Go into a basic dictionary and go look up black, and they will see black is an adjective, and right beneath it, they will have black or more, and then it will show you a noun, and it will separate the adjective from the noun, and then give you its origin. As a matter of fact, let me take a minute and give them the etymology of black, because a lot of scholars, which you already know, the so-called black scholars know that most of our people don't know the fundamental rule of etymology, which is basic third-grade grammatication, the capacity to regurgitate and understand words in their true meaning. So let me just read from one of my lesson books. Now, keep in mind this. This is the fact that in the nature of the Dungy case, and it's also the reason why Europeans have branded our people Negro, black, colored, Indian, and whatever we would accept to take us out from under the protections of the treaties, because it would make you not a party to treaty law or constitutional law, because there's no such people in the family of nations. And our people haven't been aware of the civil little more to status that the branding system works as a function relative to escheating by the corporate state and their non-descendability. And so one of the comments that I made in the William Dungy case is this: the reader and researcher or scholar is advised to review the foregoing synopsis of the William Dungy slander case of 1855 with keen consideration of the realities and the facts that one's status also determines one's standing in relationship to one's estate, and thus the spurious tags, brands, and nom de guerre, black and Negro, etc., being pejorative and status compromising create serious and debilitating social and economic repercussions in relationship to William Dungy or any other Asiatic upon whom those brands are placed. Now, under the rule or the doctrine of discovery and their unum sanctum policy, the European colonial operations under colonial operations at North America use that process to claim people's estate. Now, relative to status, and keep in mind, the Dred Scott case is the most important slave case ever to come before the Supreme Court under the jurisdiction of the United States operating at North America. And is not only used here for the determination of liberties, capacities, and rights, etc., and citizenship, but it's also adopted as a standard by even other nation states. So the status argument is the same principle that was argued in the Amistad case, in the Dred Scott case, in the Ferguson versus Plessy case, and in all persons called Negro, Black, and Colored with the problems that we keep having in legal and lawful process, as well as in descendability. And at law and in law, status is the standing, the state, or the condition of a person, and it relates to the legal relation of the individual to the rest of the community. And status relates to the rights, the duties, the capacities, and the incapacities which determine a person to a given class. It is a legal, personal relationship, not temporary in its nature, nor terminable at the mere will of the parties with which third parties and the state are concerned. And while the term status implies relation, it is not a mere relation, because status also means a state, because status signifies the condition or the circumstances in which one stands with regard to his property. And this is what is used against our people all the time with the black brands. And scholars know that, and they won't tell the people that because it doesn't pay them, meaning that they can't make finance by teaching our people the truth of legal status and a stateless person. Now, as far as the word black that they keep on trying to justify, let's go to etymology, to language itself, grammatication and language and orthology. Black. The word black is an adjective and is of Middle English origin. Linguistically and grammatically, Middle English places the word black between the years 1100 and 1500 as a means of measuring the passage of time. This equates to the timelines of the 12th to the 16th centuries. And scholars and other literate people who possess the capacity to read associate the Middle English linguistic timeline by way of the Julian calendar in the Common Era. And in the history of European culture, this period of time is considered the High Middle Ages and is also called the Age of Cistercians. Now, in the etymology of the English word black, which is Middle English, the Middle English is derived from the Old English word block, and that's B-L-A-C. And both of these English words, black, B-L-A-C-K, and block, B-L-A-C, are derived from deal, B-H-E-L. The origin and true meaning of the word deal is to shine, to flash, to burn, shining white, and various bright colors. One, beluga from Russia, belly, white, philorope from Greek, phileros having a white spot. And bill is a suffix variant of the bill root blue, derived from Old French. Blue, B-L-E-U, B-L-U-E, derived from Germanic, Bill-Wa, B-H-L-E-Y-A-Z. Now, blue, bill, B-H-E-L, has various extended Germanic forms such as bleach, derived from Old English bleikjean, which means to make white, bleak, from Old Norse bleaker, which means shining and white, and is derived from the Germanic bleikos, which means shining and white, etc. And important derivatives of bill are blue, bleach, bleak, blaze, blemish, blind, blend, blonde, blank, blanket,
Islam more. You have a good night. We'll build soon. Give thanks for that more. Islam. Give thanks for that, brother Taj.
I like it, brother.
All right. Thank you for everything you do, and we'll be in touch.
I like it, brother. Peace.
Peace. I swear he makes time an illusion. For real, for real. I swear he makes time an illusion, because there's no way that he just talked for 50 minutes just now. He just talked for 50 minutes. So, you know what I mean? We love our family, but, you know what I mean? There's only so far we're going to let certain things ride, right? If these guys never called themselves Hebrew Israelites, then whoever's calling themselves Hebrew Israelites today must be some kind of fraud or something like that. Because there's no way. It's impossible that these people are the foundation of the people who are around today call themselves Hebrew Israelites, but these people never called themselves Hebrew Israelites. They call themselves Moorish Jews. Why? Because Moorish, ish, means pertaining to. Right? Moorish, pertaining to the Moors. So if Jews call themselves Moorish, and Moorish is pertaining to the Moors, clearly Jews, which are, really Yehudi, dark-skinned people, clearly they're Moors as well. Right? And Israelite is their band name. Israelite is their tribal name. Not their national name, merely their tribal name. Now, one of the other things that they brought up in their little thing is this whole thing about 12 tribes, and Noble Juali chapter 45 said the 12 tribes, so he's talking about Hebrews. Well, let's break down the 12 tribes. We're going to go to another more scholar, right? BA, ADD, DD, RMT, GS, GHP, PR, everything else. The good doctor, Aleem El Bey, and this is his book, First World Order, that we suggest you go to draleemelbey.com website and go get his book, The First World Order, especially if you're Hebrew, so-called Hebrew, so you can get schooled as to really what's going on. All right, page 197, and we got a few pages to go through in this. Nabi Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali, Prophet Noble Jew Ali, the royal regent of the Empire Washita de Dogdemont des Moors, and the 5th Marquis de Maison Rouge, was the founder of the Old Canaanite Temple, 1913, the Holy Moabite Temple of Science of the World, 1916, the Moorish Holy Temple of Science, 1916, the Moorish Divine and National Movement of the World, 1916 to 1919. Note, during the same year, 1916, the so-called Jewish people established the Zionist movement. The Moorish Temple of Science, 1925-1926, and the Moorish Science Temple of America, 1928. Note, in 1929, just a year later, the Vatican followed suit and formed the Papal State, being incorporated in Rome, Italy. Noble Jew Ali was a family member of the Tunica Turner tribe. Prophet Noble Jew Ali's mother's maiden name was Turner. Her name was Eliza Turner. Before 1910, Timothy Drew, Prophet Noble Jew Ali, Sheikh Sharif Abdul Ali, was a member of the Moorish Zionist Temple in Brooklyn. Right? Founded and established established in 1899 by Leon Richelieu. Moorish Zionist Temple, hence the origin of the name Moorish Science Temple. Phonetically, Zion sounds close to science. Prophet Noble Drew Ali in 1913 moved to Newark, New Jersey, formed the Canaanite Temple. 1913 happened to have been the same year that the Federal Reserve Bank, the Internal Revenue Service, and the Birth Certificate Department were all formed. These are not mere coincidences. All Moorish groups are a part of the Moorish Divine and National Movement. Therefore, we of the United Washita, the Dagdamoundia Moors, do not debate on who is the rightful Khalifa or successor. There is no proof of anyone. It is all mere opinions and speculations. Whether it's Edward Mealy L., John Givens L., Charles Kirkman Bey, David Ford L., Master Fard Muhammad, the Dingle L. brothers, Timothy and Richardson, or etc. It does not matter. We are all Moors by birthright and nationality. Birthright, real law. Nationality, blood, heritage, lineage. Not by colorable law organizations, societies, or tribal affiliations. We are all Moors by birthright and nationality, not by colorable law organizations, societies, or tribal affiliations. Page 289. During the Middle Ages, so-called Black Hebrew/Jews, Heb Heru, Jehuti, priests of the light and wisdom from all parts of Africa migrated with the Moors into Al-Andalus. According to Holy Kabbalah by Edward A. Waite, W-A-I-T-E, Holy Kabbalah, Edward A. Waite, he states that the Moors of Spain, via the said Black Hebrew Jews, brought the mystical Kabbalah to Europe from the ancient mystery schools of Egypt and helped create the so-called Western mystery tradition that resurfaced in modern times as esoteric Freemasonry and Theosophical Society. P.B. Randolph's Brotherhood of Light, the Hermetic Order of the Golden Dawn, Order Templi Orientis, AMORC, and the witchcraft cults of Gerald Gardner and Alex Sanders. According to respected Afrocentric historians such as Rudolph R. Windsor and Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, these same priests of light and wisdom in a remote time crossed the Atlantic with the Phoenician, Nubian, Egyptian Moors. They are all the same people. And during the age of Columbus were brought to the Caribbean, South America, and so-called United States as slaves. The so-called Black Hebrew Jewish presence in the ancient Americas and during the age of Columbus seems to account for the Kabbalistic overtones found in the Obeah traditions of Jamaica, Guyana, Trinidad. In the Caribbean, Obeah men can still be seen wearing oriental turbans and long robes, and conjuring biblical demons with the Lesser Key of Solomon and the 6th and 7th books of Moses. The same line of reasoning sheds light on the Palo Congo traditions of 19th century Cuba. There exist pictures of paleros and diablitos from the time of cabildos dressed in oriental-looking garbs. Also, the militant or Marunic lines of Palo Congo spirit worship, black, Hebrew, Jewish, and said black Muslim Maroons rebelled against slavery, Christianity, and European expansion before the creolization of the island and the age of the Cabildo system. A similar scenario exists in Ubanda cult of Brazil. In some Ubanda houses with a strong Amerindian presence, there exists an entire line of ancestral spirits of Ethiopian, Egyptian, Persian, Hebrew, Jewish, Moorish, Black Arab origin, which devotees referred to as the ancient natives of the Amazon. See Brother Engo, Brother E-N-G-O, Brother Engo. Right? Now they do this thing with the 12 tribes and all that stuff. Oh yeah, before we go there, page 334. We must begin to look at the prophets metaphysically instead of historically or literally. We must begin to look at the prophets metaphysically instead of historically or literally. 7. Muhammad is the last seal of the prophets, quote unquote, thus symbolizing the element prana and or the last seal in man, the crown chakra. Actually, there is a photonic galaxy-like cloud, the internal replica of the external Milky Way galaxy that hovers over the pineal gland that teleports the spiritual soul, astral or star body upward each night to explore the Milky Way. Muhammad. 6. Jesus allegorically stated that when the eye is single, the body is full of light, thus symbolizing the element manas or mana, as in Son of Man, the brow or third eye chakra, actually the first eye or pineal gland, triangularly shaped like the head of the penis or pine cone shaped. It is the fruit of the tree of life via the pituitary glands. 5. Moses allegorically stated, "Let my people go." Yet he was not eloquent in speech he was not eloquent in speech, and at one point his brother Aaron, Atan Ra'an, had to do the talking for him, thus symbolizing the element ether, throat chakra, and or thyroid or parathyroid glands. 4. David means in Hebrew dialect beloved, thus symbolizing the element air, the heart chakra, and or thymus gland. 3. Abraham allegorically came from the land of Ur. Ur means fire in the Chaldean Hebrew dialects, thus symbolizing the element fire, the solar plexus or the pancreas organ. Also, Chaldea means a abode of demons. For all those so-called Hebrews out there when we go Abraham and all that stuff, well, Ur means fire in Chaldean. Abraham's from Ur. But Chaldea means abode of demons. 2. Noah built an ark boat. The uterus is shaped like an ark or an ankh or ark, and the womb is the boat that was filled by the waters of life or semen, sperm, etc. to survive the 40 days and 40 nights of rainwater that fell to earth, thus symbolizing the element water, the navel sacral chakra, and or uterus and prostate gland or semen palace in man. 1. Adam was made from the dust of the ground or clay in Genesis, meaning genes of Isis, from the Holy Bible, meaning from Greco-Roman word Helios Biblios. The English translation is sun pages or sun book. In other words, originally conveyed by the true Masons or children of the sun, Atom or Adamite. So now we get to the tribes of Israel. That was a little while, but we'll get there. So the tribes of Israel. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Judah, Zebulun, Issachar, Dan, Gad, Asher, Naphtali, Joseph, Benjamin. All right? Also, represented as 12 tribes. Nebajoth, Nebajoth, prophetic utterances. Jupiter, Europa, Heru, Apsheta, Tau. Kedar, dark-skinned or black, Saturn, emerald. Adbel, servant of God, Mercury. Tehudi, diamond. Mibsam, pleasant aroma, earth. Topaz. Mishma, declaration, Mars, beryl. Duma, land of science, land of silence, Pluto, quartz. Massa, bearer of the soul or divine oracle, Neptune, garnet. 8. Hadar, concealed inner chamber, moon, sapphire. Tema, son of the southern quarter, sun. Marduk Ra, Nebheru, the golden living light, which also symbolizes the sun and chrysolite. Jetur, pillar of light. Uranus, Cherubryl, Chyrobryl. Naphish, spirit of man, Venus, onyx. Kadima, ancient, eternal, and that which exceeds all limits, Maldek, short for Melchizedek. And Melona, moon, now the asteroid belt, and amethyst. Rudolf Steiner, founder of the Anthroposophical Society, states, the zodiac nature is microcosmically reflected in the human being in multifarious ways. The 12 constellations seen under the dome of the firmament are reflected under the dome of the human being's skull. As Steiner has said, there are 12 principal nerves that originate in the head. This is true, but only as part of the picture. One can confirm that the peripheral nervous system is made up of 3 parts, namely the cranial nerves, the spinal nerves, and that part of the autonomic nervous system that is outside the brain and spinal cord. These 3 are the trinity above the zodiac. The highest of these 3 are the cranial nerves, of which there are indeed 12 pairs as follows. The cranial nerves sits around the pineal gland. The master endocrine is the center of the brain. Get the book Jewel in the Lotus by Grandmaster Sunyata Saraswati. SUNYATA SARASWATI. 12 cranial nerves. Olfactory, OLFACTORY. Optic, oculomotor, ACULOMOTOR. Trochlear, TROCHLEAR. Trigeminal, TRIGEMINAL. INAL. Abducens. ABDUCENS. Facial. Vestibular clock. VESTIBULOCHLEAR. VESTIBULOCHLEAR. Gloss whatever. GLOSSOPHARYNGEAL. GLOSSOPHARYNGEAL. Vagus or vagus, VAGUS. Accessory. Hypoglossal, which is the 12, right? Charles and Cora Fillmore. 12 powers of man. Internally, the number 12 applies to the 12 nutritive cell body tissue salts. Potassium phosphate. Potassium phosphate, muscles, nerves, skin, intestines, hair, stomach, tissue cells, Aries. Sodium sulfate, liver, digestive system, Taurus. Potassium chloride, muscles, blood, saliva, Gemini. Calcium fluoride, bones, elastic tissues, veins, arteries, teeth, and joints, Cancer. Magnesium phosphate, muscles, nerves, bones, Leo. Potassium sulfate, skin, intestines, hair, stomach, tissue cells, Virgo. Sodium phosphate, nerves, muscles, joints, digestive organs, Libra. Calcium sulfate, blood, skin, Scorpio. Silica, connective tissues, skin, Sagittarius. Calcium phosphate, bones, muscles, nerves, brain, connective tissues, and teeth, Capricorn. Sodium chloride, cartilage, mucous cells, glands, Aquarius. Iron phosphate, muscles, nerves, hair, blood vessels, arteries, red blood cells, Pisces. Note, the dandelion plant, its root and green leaves have all 12 nutritive cell blood tissue salts. Note, the dandelion plant, its roots and green leaves have all 12 nutritive cell blood tissue salts. The 12 disciples, again, 12 tribes. Within the human brainstem are 12 centers or sites of melanin. Locus coeruleus, locus LOCUS, COERULEUS, means black dot, also called a menta neuromelanin tract. It is the principal norepinephrine nerve supply to the cortex. It is involved in REM sleep. It allows an individual remain conscious while dreaming, especially during astral travel or projection events, as well as during soul travel events. It also helps in the process of recalling dreams. Substantia nigra means black substance. Substantia, substantia nigra, Nigra. Black substance, the 11th in the chain of brainstem neuromelanin nerve tract. Loss of neuromelanin in this nucleus is known as a result in the disorder called Parkinson's disease. Aluminum accumulation. Parkinson's disease. Aluminum accumulation. Remember, we're still talking about 12 tribes. Brachialis. Brachialis. Now, this is why it's good to know people who are BA, ADD, DD, RMT, GSG, and all the other stuff. Which means that they got that good European education that Noble Drew Ali told them to get. And now they're going to use it to help our people who think that 12 tribes is some group of 12 guys that came from all these different tribes and make up the human family. That's BS. It really doesn't go like that, really. Right? Parnigralis. Parnigralis. Intracapillaris subciliaris. INTRA CAPULARIS SUBCERLEUS. And there's more there, but I'm tired of spelling those damn things that I can't pronounce. According to Nutricide by Dr. Imhotep, Layla Africa. Oh, keep in mind, Nutricide is the same book where when they were explaining before about the above the pineal gland, the cloud shaped whatever it is, whatever like that. Get Nutricide and look at that image that Dr. Layla Africa put in his book of the pineal gland. And you see the pineal gland looks like a flying saucer. When you magnify this cloud or whatever that's above the pineal gland, it looks like a flying saucer, right? Nutricide book. The 12 high priests after the order of Melchizedek: Enoch, Abraham, Moses, Elijah, David, Solomon, Ezekiel, Daniel, Isaiah, Yohana, Yeshua, Muhammad. 12 major prophetess of the Holy Bible: Eve, Sarah, Miriam, Deborah, Esther, Ruth, Huldah, Noadiah, Elizabeth, Anna, Mary Magdalene. So you have all these things relative to the 12 tribes or whatever, or all these things relative to 12, which lets us know that, there ain't no tribes of anybody. That's not a reality. There's too many things relative to 12 to say that everybody just belongs to those stuff. When you got cranial nerves and stuff like that, which are also part of you, that have nothing to do with any tribes or anything like that. It's just part of you, right? And keep in mind again that Hebrew, coming from Hebrew, is the ones that crossed over. So Hebrew is a doing. They can't call themselves Israelite only. They have to attach Hebrew to it. That's why they never call themselves Israelite only. They have to attach Hebrew. But in attaching Hebrew, now they take it away from an identity. It can't be an identity if it's called Hebrew. It's an action. If you want to be action, go right ahead. Right? But clearly it shows that people haven't studied like they're supposed to study. You know what I mean? They get pumped up by somebody telling them that, you know, oh, you guys could go on the camera and say, yeah, I like what you guys said or whatever. But saying nothing. You know what I mean? You can't play, you know, like how they like to do. Well, you know, but I'm a Moor too. You know what I mean? Don't think I'm disrespecting the Moors. You know, love to my Moorish brothers and all that stuff, doing that third party talking stuff, right? And then when we address certain things, like these guys never called themselves Hebrew Israelites. This is their foundation. How come you guys don't just call yourself Moorish Jews today? Just call yourself Moorish Jews. Why would you call yourself Hebrew Israelites? Why you make up some stuff that doesn't even mean anything and expect people to run with that when you have this right here? And they have a sign and all that saying that they're Moors. Right? They have a sign saying that they're Moors. They're not lying. They're not hiding things. Anybody talking about your ancestral estate is hills and wilderness of North America and stuff like that, cast those people aside, right? They're trying to make you abandon your birthright, because clearly this is not no hills and wilderness for people who are coming here and being prosperous, who are leaving wherever they're at, where there's a war and all that stuff, to come here. Clearly it's not hell here. It's only hell here for people who are stateless. It's only hell here for people who are classified as these brand names that don't want to recognize that, you know, proclaim your nationality and you realize where heaven's at. And it's not up or whatever, between somebody. Right? Why do we pray to the east? Because we're Hebrew. No, we pray to the east because all knowledge comes from the east. So we face the east to give honors to where everything we got comes from. Everything's doesn't have to be 500-page essay. Some things are really just use your common sense, and you'll figure it out. All you gotta do is use your common sense. Like Drew Ali said, think and save yourself. That's all you gotta do. Just think. Just do a little bit of thinking, and you'll save yourself. Little bit of thinking. You don't even have to really think crazy. Just think a little bit. And you'll save yourself. Right? 12 tribes. Taj beat up that. Oh, if Drew Ali came to reveal all the secrets, why didn't he just say that we're Hebrew Israelites? Because they're going to bring up, you know, that, well, you know, Drew Ali, he took all the secrets away and all that. Okay, well, if he took all the secrets away, why didn't he just come out and just say, you're not Negro, black, colored, you're Hebrew Israelites? If he's not saying that because, you know, oh, well, they might murder me if I tell the truth of our identity, then clearly he's keeping secrets. And if he's prophet, you know, what's he worried about some European gonna do to him or whatever if he says something? He already went in the vault, got flags back and all that stuff. You tell me that he couldn't say that we're Hebrew Israelites? Right? And then again, too, don't forget, just look at the picture, right? You'll see fezzes in there. Okay? Right? You'll see fezzes in there. Remember, these are Hebrews. Oh, no, these are Moorish Jews. Moorish Jews. With fezzes on. Calling themselves Moorish. People playing games with birthrights today. Right? Yeah, exactly. Critical thinking. That's all you gotta do. Think. Right? Don't forget. It's patriarch time. So don't let these guys tell you about stuff is through the father and stuff like that. and have these sisters out here abandoned because they're chasing balls. Don't abandon them sisters chasing balls. Please, we beg you. Honor the matriarch. Honor the feminine principle. Don't cast it aside and stuff like that, talking about, we're somebody because we're men. Right? He even broke it down in the book. That we got the distorted chromosome, you know what I mean? The Y with the leg missing to make it an X. So because we're distorted, you know what I mean? Don't get on the high horse like, you're somebody. We ain't nobody. Our duty is to serve. That's it. She gives orders and we carry them out. Right? Our thing is making sure that we get her to the right mindset so that, she's not playing Margaret Sanger and woman liberation BS with the birthright, with her birthright. You know what I mean? Like, because we're honoring her and got her on the pedestal now, she's, you know what I mean, ruler of stuff and trying to, it's not for you to take advantage of the power. It's to recognize that we recognize your power and then, deal with us accordingly based on our recognition of feminine principle. Because ain't nobody came here through a butt or a penis head. Nobody. If you find somebody who came out here from a butt or a penis head, asshole, if somebody came out of an asshole, please introduce them to me. I want to know these people, these patriarch people. I want to know them. Anybody. Just find one. Just find one that their dad peed them out. And then I'll get down with some forget Ruth and everything comes through the father. Until then, I'm going with matriarch rules. Because it makes sense. Common sense. And you think. When you think, stuff makes sense. Right? So, we'll see where this goes. Again, you know what I mean? If people are getting too excited, not recognize that somebody's calling me and my brother Wonder Twins, which is a boy and a girl. And then we're not correcting that. We're not saying, hold on a second, you can't call us Wonder Twins and stuff like that because clearly we're two men. So you know what I mean? You need to change certain stuff. But they're going to run with that. You know what I mean? And like we're saying, there's only before we do that, let me just put this on the record. So we got brother Wasim has his Hebrew, his metaphysical Bible dictionary. Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. Make sure you go get it. Page 267 states, Hebrew means to pass over. Hebrew means to pass over. This is the Metaphysical Bible Dictionary. Proving again that it's an action. Calling yourself Hebrew is a doing. Right? So that's like being the drinking Israelites. These are the drinking Israelites. Somebody's going to take you guys serious? Oh yeah, the running Israelites. Oh yeah, those guys are really who they say they are. Not really. So they're talking BS. Because everybody who looks at these people with their Power Rangers and all that stuff like that, dressing all crazy, they already know that these guys they done lost it. Right? Done lost it. Obviously they lost it. And again, trying to help our brothers, sisters to come to the realization of who they are. But it's on them to come to that realization. It's not going to be, we already know what's up. I mean, we're not confused about what the hell this is. Right? Again, we're going to bring up the brother Abdullah El Talib Mozi Bey, which, by the way, Islam to brother Abdullah El Talib Mozi Bey, the Moors and Masonry book's out. So make sure you go to his website, morrisciviletter.net. Moorish, Civilitter, morrisciviletter.net. Make sure you go get the book, Moors and Masonry. Been working on it for about 20 years. Book's finally out. So support the good brother, right? So he put out his book, Moors and Masonry, right? Now, Brother Abdullah let us know, right? When he sat down with the same guy who's pushing these people or whatever like that, told him that he asked hundreds of so-called Hebrew Israelites, you got a nationality card or whatever to prove you're a Hebrew Israelite? Or you just saying that just, sound cool? And ain't none of them pulled out anything to say that they're quote-unquote Hebrew Israelite. And again, don't tell me nothing about Hebrew Israelite if your foundation says that they're Moorish Jews. I don't want to hear nothing about Hebrew Israelite. I could care less. Because your foundation says that you're Moorish Jews. So how are you Moorish Jews in the 1920s, and then all of a sudden you guys are Hebrew Israelites and you don't even mention Moorish Jews? Oh, they do. The ones that stuck to the protocol, Moorish Zionist Templar Jews, are still around today, 2016. They're still around. They still give honors to Noble Drew Ali and all that. They still call themselves Moorish Jews today. And they know that those guys who call themselves Hebrew, they're guys running a fraud. Don't be hearing them. Right? So we got about half hour. See how much of these questions we could bang out. So Frankie Lopez, Islam. I'm always hearing from different Moors about what the Moorish American flag is or should be. What is the true Moorish American flag? What is the significance behind it? All right, well, let's see what Noble Drew Ali says. Being that he's a prophet and all that stuff, and he laid everything out for the Moors, told them think and save themselves, and then question 19, 101 questionnaire. How old is or what kind of flag is the Moorish? It is a red flag with a green 5-point star in the center. That's it. You don't gotta look into anything. You don't gotta go double check or whatever like that. All you gotta do is look for the red flag with the green 5-point star in the center. That's the Moorish flag. What do the 5 points represent? Love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. So, if somebody says, Moorish flag, and it's not a red flag with a green 5-point star in the center, clearly that's not the Moorish flag. The argument's over. That's it. Nothing else to go into, nothing to check. That's what it is. Red flag, green 5-point star. That's the Moorish flag. Anything else? You take your chances. But I'm riding with what Noble Drew Ali said. Now the significance of the Moorish flag is that it's 10 to 50,000 years old. So for anybody to come around and say, well, that's not the Moorish flag because that's flying in Morocco and whatever stuff like that. Well, those guys came around in 1956. So clearly, they're not representing what the Moorish flag represents because 1956 is not 10,000 years ago. 1956 is not 10,000 to 50,000 years ago. So clearly they're not representing the Moorish flag. They're representing the Moroccan kingdom, which is a totally separate jurisdiction that they have a right to claim. But always remember that kingdoms don't have anything on empire. Kingdoms don't have anything on empire. Right? So don't throw away your birthright because some people pointed to Morocco on the continent and then yeah, they got that flag and they're pale. Well, that's not my flag then because they have that flag and that's why, just like the Zionist Jews of Harlem, they put Moorish to distinguish that they're not the Ashkenazis. They're not the ones that woe unto those that call themselves Jews and are not. And keep in mind that that was in the Sun pages before Noble Drew Ali said it. So don't be fooled when these people are telling you that Noble Drew Ali said, woe unto those that call themselves Jews. You know, Noble Drew Ali never said that. He quoted that from another source. That's not something Noble Drew Ali said. He quoted that from another source. Right? Because everybody knows that ain't no pale people are the Yehudi. Pale people can't be Yehudi. It just doesn't work like that. Right? So we will that assist. Remember, KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Don't go, it doesn't have to be advanced. You know what I mean? Keep it simple. The reason. You know what I mean? Noble Drew Ali said think and save yourself because it's really simple. If you just use your common sense. You know what I mean? Additional laws. Additional laws. Act 5. All members must promptly attend their meetings and send their children to Sunday school, and the teacher must conform himself to the questionnaire. And let every member exercise his 5 senses who is able to do so. If you're not exercising your 5 senses, you're violating Act 5 of the additional laws. They won't talk about that though. You know, as soon as you start using your common sense, they try to tell you that you're dirty Moor, you're a renegade and stuff like that. You're not going with what the Prophet said. Well, you know, Prophet said use your 5 senses. Whoever's capable, you know, maybe some people aren't capable of using their 5 senses, so they're gonna talk crazy. But if you're capable, if you got nationality, you know that you're Elbe, Moorish American and all that, and you know that you got 5 senses. You know, some people got 7. You know what I mean? You know, use what you got. If you got 7 senses, even better. Utilize your senses. Not because you seen Ustream or whatever. Noble Drew Ali told you utilize your 5 senses. So honor the man and use your 5 senses. Think. Don't be absent-minded. Don't just go with stuff because somebody said something fascinating. You know what I mean? Like, you know, because it was fascinating. Noble Drew Ali's a Hebrew Israelite. He's not no more and stuff like that. Oh, wow, you talking big like that? You talking big like that? Where's y'all? How come y'all look like niggers though? Hoodies on and stuff like that. You got nothing Hebrew on. Got nothing Moorish on. Got nothing Kemetic on. You got nothing qualifying the fact that, you know something about our culture. Just look like another brother trying to, get on a certain platform and try and make a name for themselves. We'll see how much more videos that they drop. We'll see. If they drop 3 more videos, you know that they're the replacement pillars. If they drop 3 more videos, you know that they're the replacement pillars. Right? Because certain people recognize, you know, NYPD got cameras right there watching people and stuff like that, and they're not taking no part in that BS right there. You know, they might under some brotherhood or whatever, but don't get it twisted. Brother Roscoe Hudson, Brother Cujo, I just wanted to take a moment to say, you are definitely representing Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Keep up the good works. My grandmother spoke on good when she first told me I was a Moor back in 1982. She said, a good and faithful Moor will guide you when the time comes. You, Taj Tarik Bey, and a few others are those she spoke on. She has moved now, but she approves. So do I. Spirit breath is real. Peace and love more. Brother Roscoe Augustus Hudson. Islam more. Brother Melvin, I'm Moorish American. I've been introduced to your channel on YouTube. I have a question and I would appreciate if you could shed some light or suggest a video that addresses my issue. I have been in a relationship for 10 years. My girlfriend does not agree with Moorish ideology. She agrees with everything. She disagrees with everything I tell her, and I have tried to watch videos with her so she can see the truth. I feel that she is distracting me in the movement because she does not get it. What should I do? Well, like a lot of the Moors who are dealing with this exact same thing that you're talking about, Moors are dealing with it, and Moors have conquered it. From the Moors that conquered it, just case in point, a Moor, I spoke with a Moor today, right? He was in your position, telling her this, showing her that, she doesn't want to hear anything. They've been married for 30-something years. And then out of the blue, one day, last week or something like that, out of the blue, just out of nowhere, she just comes, you know, you might be onto something with this Moorish thing. Just like that, out of the blue. 37 years. 36 years, doing whatever he has to do, try to get her on board. She's not hearing nothing. Don't want to do nothing, doesn't want to, right? So, what we come to realize is that this realization of who we are and stuff like that, that we adopt and say, okay, I'm going to tell somebody because, you know, I mean, this is right and that's my wife or my girl. I mean, why wouldn't she listen to me or whatever like that? Well, everybody has their own time to get this. And what's really at play is the test for you to prove yourself worthy to wait out the revelation. Like we said, Moore waited 37 years. He got his revelation just the other day. He got his revelation that, oh, praise Allah, she finally said something in favor of the Moorish ideology. All right, you know what I mean? That one thing that she said that's in favor. All right, so now we're gonna go out and all that stuff. We're gonna go, you know what I mean? You know what Drew Ali said? You know, if she's not down with this or whatever, don't give her 1 apple, give her 2 apples. So because she recognized what's up, you're gonna take her to dinner. You're gonna go to a movie. You know what I mean? You might buy her something or whatever like that, just to, you know what I mean, continue to inspire her to, you know, recognize that it's cool to get down with the Moorish paradigm. You know what I mean? It's not, all you gotta do is just use your common sense. People don't like to use their common sense, you know? Another brother, same situation. You know, oh man, you gotta wear that fez and all that stuff again. Like, can't we just do something without you wearing this fez and stuff like that? Why you gotta wear a fez all the time? You know what I mean? Like, you know, well, it's my birthright. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I love you and all that stuff, and you know I care, and all, you know, but this is my birthright. Like, I can't deny my birthright. You know what I mean? You know, I was watching something the other day, and you know, somebody came on the TV and they had a fez on, or you know, children's in the room. Dad, come here right now. You think the house is burning down or whatever like that? You come to show you some cartoon with a fez on there, and then the wife sitting there looking at you like, and you're looking at her like, and then you know, from the mouth of babes, you know, what I mean, what are you gonna do? You just gonna have to accept the fact, right? So don't be discouraged. You know what I'm saying, right? Like I said, you know what I mean. You got 27 years. You know, you got 27 years. 27 years more for the revelation, right? Because you know, 37 year more, you know, that's track record. You know, you've been waiting for 37 years and all that stuff, known her that long, and then she just brought something yesterday. Okay, cool. We'll run with that. You know what I mean? Because at least she came with something. Opposed to just deny it. You know what I mean? Like, eventually, they will walk into that wall of hypocrisy, and then they're going to come and say, you know what? I was checking something out, or I was there, or whatever. But you can't force it. Because the more you force, the more you push away. The more you try to dump it on her, well, they got to accept this because it's the truth and all that. You don't got to accept anything. Everybody has their own free will to do what they will or what they not will. But don't be frustrated. You know what I mean? You know, she's not, you know, the devil because she doesn't want to get down with more science. You know what I mean? Guaranteed. You know, food still tastes good and other stuff is still good and stuff like that, even though she's not saying she's Moorish, American and all that. You know what I mean? So, you know, don't, no, and then the other hand, with regard to the, you know, being distracted, you know, the only reason that you're distracted from the movement is because you're looking at, you know, you have to whatever her. No, you don't have to do anything. You don't have to do, don't worry, let her do her thing. You know what I mean? You know, let her do her thing. You don't want to push too hard. This is birthrights. It's not some club that she needs to join this club today or whatever. Don't worry, if she doesn't get it this life, next life she'll get it. She'll get it eventually. You know what I mean? There's only so long that you can deny the truth, right? Actually, let's just put that out there. Behold the pale horse. Let's just put this out here. Delamar Devers. One basic truth can be used as a foundation for a mountain of lies. And if we dig down deep enough in the mountain of lies and bring out that truth to set it on top of the mountain of lies, the entire mountain of lies will crumble under the weight of that one truth. And there is nothing more devastating to a structure of lies than the revelation of the truth upon which the structure of lies was built. Because the shock waves of the revelation of truth reverberate and continue to reverberate throughout the earth for generations to follow, awakening even those people who had no desire to be awakened to the truth. So don't worry. You know? Like the revelation of the week. Everything has its time. Right? Confucius, I think. Let me find this thing. 1 second. Let me find this thing. just make sure you get the dandelion root tea, right? So that when you get your little package of dandelion root tea, right? You have your little tag with messages on there, inspirational stuff, right? So this one here, Sadi, quote, "A garden is a delight to the eye and a solace for the soul." Right? So you got all these little stuff. So in one of these things right here, I'm pretty sure it was Confucius, but there was something like something to do with nature doesn't rush stuff, but everything is perfect, or something like that. Something to that effect, right? So, you know, everything has its time. You don't have to rush stuff. You just it's gonna play out how it's supposed to play out. That's just what it is. You know what I mean? Whether they get it today or whether they get it 37 years, they will get it. Remember, truth reverberates. And the reverberation of that truth, that one truth, is even gonna make people who didn't even think that they wanted to get the truth. Right? Because you can't escape. You can't escape truth. Truth will find your ass. And you better be ready when truth comes. It might not come again. You know what I mean? If you abandon. Brother Shabazz L. Question about Canaanland Moors addressing Morisco TV claims about Canada video. Islam. In the video at 2013, G.S. Kudrow L. cites from the Federal Interpretation Act, but didn't make reference to which section the following quote is within this act, which was, "Canada for the greater certainty includes the internal waters of Canada and the territorial sea of Canada." The quote is coming from the definition section of the Interpretations Act, where in majority of these acts, statutes, codes, or whatever like that, just like the in the last video that we uploaded with the conference, the officer of the court with the nest on her head or whatever was talking about the definitions and the codes, and you have to follow the definitions of the code. Okay, all right, let's do that. So we went to the definitions in the code of the Federal Interpretations Act that proved that Canada for a greater certainty includes internal waters and territorial sea. So if Canada is supposed to be a colony, it's supposed to be land, how is it sea? How is it internal waters? It's impossible that it's land and sea at the same time, which, you know, is supposed to let people know that they're being played and there's no such thing as this place called quote unquote Canada as these people are talking, right? And then Kudrow's Canadian and stuff like that. You know, that's not reality. So that comes from the definition section in the Federal Interpretations Act. So just go to the definition section and you'll see the stuff in there. Miguel Pelange. Peace, Brother Kudrow. My name is Miguel. I'm originally from the Caribbean, but I have been residing in the United States for 17 years. All right, so already, right there, right? You're originally from America. Caribbean, all the islands, quote-unquote West Indies is part of the mainland. There's not some stuff floating in the Atlantic Ocean. That's part of the mainland. That's part of Atlantis. That's part of the colony that the Egyptians founded, right? Tahuti specifically was one of the founders of the colony of Atlantis. The founder of it. Egyptian guy. From over there. Founded some stuff over here. residing in the United States, you can't reside in the United States. You can't reside in McDonald's. They're gonna tell you, excuse me, sir, time to go home. Can't reside there, right? I have a green card and I have not yet made the choice to become a U.S. citizen, all due to me knowing about my Moorish nationality. I am married, not legally, to a Moorish American sister, and we have been together for 11 years. What would be the better way to change my status and not be at odds with the system? My wife and I, based our understanding of what Noble Juali brought, have been getting closer to standing on our square. My good brother, what would be the first step in doing things correctly as far as our status, nationality, and birthright? What literature would you also recommend that would best aid us in our development? Right now, I am frozen as to what direction I should be taking to better appropriate myself so I can align with the Prophet has taught. Thank you, Brother Kudro, for all the works you have done to continue to uplift fallen humanity. Thank you. All right, so being that, again, we're dealing with, occupation and stuff like that, in order to get that so-called green card, you had to fill out. Actually, matter of fact, go watch the movie by Sprague Benz, or with Sprague Benz, Green Card. Go watch that. Watch that movie called Green Card, right? Starring Sprague Benz L. Bey, the reggae singer, Sprague Benz, who proclaimed his nationality through Grand Sheikh Nature El Bey's temple. Right? Watch that first. And then think about this question that you asked. So I'm not even going to answer yet. Right? I will say, go to rvbaypublications.com. Study from that website with regard to anything dealing with, when you go on the tabs on the side, anything dealing with status. Since you have a wife, you can look at the matriarch page. You could frequent Blog Talk Radio, Sister Standing on Law, right? Because once she has your back, then all the other stuff is just gonna fall in your lap, right? The first step is recognizing that it's not the status issue is your mindset. The status, the concretization of your status, the solidification of your status is going to be based on where your mind's at, not do you have a paper or whatever, right? But if you've already been studying, you want to consider taking the step of declaring your nationality, putting these people on notice about what your status is, right? With the documentation that you would receive through the Great Seal Association of Moorish Affairs, judicial proclamation, and name correction paperwork. Do those things, get those done, put these people on notice, get your nationality card so you can prove that you're citizen of a nation, prove that you're tied to something other than the U.S. corpse that gives green cards, which is really denationalization, because those guys aren't the ones that should be giving you green card. You should be giving them stuff because they're foreigners. You're from the mainland. You're from America. You're not from the Caribbean. You're not from Jamaica. You're not from Trinidad. You're not from Barbados. You're not from the West Indies. You're not from the Caribbean. You're not from the islands. You're from America. But the only way that you would be clear with that is by having the information go into your mind and resonate in your heart to change your spirit. The wrong information goes into the mind, then your heart turns black. Once your heart turns black, you're not going to have any effect on these people when you start telling them about, you know, who are they and challenging them and stuff like that. They're going to look at you like you got issues and, you know, pull their quote unquote deport you back to America. You know, just like Moors who, you know, well, you know, I tried calling you, you know what I mean, and I can't get through. Then they go check their phone company, and their phone company has Canada as international country. Listed as an international country. It's just right up there. And they can't call here unless they change their plan or whatever like that to accommodate international calls. When Canada is the same place as Chicago and wherever else people are at. It's all northwest of Mexico, right? But yeah, Green Card movie. Go watch that. Please, it'll give you some insight. Gabriel Mack. Peace Goudreau. I think you remember me from YouTube profile Mac 3DG with the picture of the Arpia Eagle. My profile today is Lone Walker with the profile of the Arpia Eagle and thinking I'm ready to start. Please could you send me step-by-step info on what's needed to join Canaanland Temple. I went to RV Bay. There is so much info in there I found it confusing. I was just looking for the first basic steps about joining the temple and going through the status correction process. With regard to Canaanland Temple, you email Brother Amari L. Bey, who is our secretary that deals with the honorary membership of the temple. His email is Amari, A-M-A-U-R-Y, L-Bey, E-L-B-E-Y, at hotmail.ca. So anybody outside of Canaanland that wants to be a member of Canaanland Moors, Moorish Science Temple, Moorish Holy Temple, Moorish Divine National Movement, just so that they can be a member of a temple. Because, you know, there's so much stuff going on out there with temples and all that stuff. Don't know who to trust and all that, but you've been frequenting Canaanland Moors, you've been frequenting RV Bay publications, listening to Asir, listening to Taj, listening to Aleem, Setenra, and all these people who we gravitate with as our master teachers. All right, join the temple, send an email, we'll send you the form, fill that out, mail it in, we'll send you confirmation that you're a member, honorary member, and you can carry on from there. RV Bay appears confusing because people don't follow the tabs. If you follow the tabs, you're not going to be confused. So you start at the top. First thing that you can click to go somewhere, click that. Or scroll through the tabs, and whatever your higher self picks up and says, hey, you know, you should just click that one right there or whatever, click that and start there, right? But it's not confusing. It's only it only seems daunting because it's new. You know what I mean? Just like before you dunk, the rims looks like 12 feet. You know what I mean? But after you dunk on some people, you know, you want them to push the stuff up higher. Right? You're not at push the stuff up higher yet. You're still at trying to, you know, get your finger over the net so you can, you know, do the hang and tell everybody, yo, see, I could grab this or whatever. Right? Process is it is on you. Everything's there. All you have to do is have an open mind when you go there. You know, as soon as you go there with preconceived notions, well, I heard this guy say about RV Bay, and I watched this guy make a video, and he said that RV Bay got somebody arrested because they said delegation of authority and people got shot and stuff like that. I don't know. As soon as you go there with that, you already confused yourself. Eliminate all the BS that you've been fed. Forget all the BS that you've been told, even from Moors. Just cast that over your shoulder for now. You know what I mean? Put that in your little witch bag. You know what I mean? Tie that up and just, keep that on the side. Right? Go on the site with an open mind. Once you go there with an open mind, trust me, it's going to be crystal clear what's going on. Guaranteed, it's going to be crystal clear. Right? But that's only going to happen if you go there with open mind and wanting to learn. If you go there trying to get something, trying to get out of something, I got this ticket, where do I find this stuff? And yeah, you're going to be confused if you go on there, because you don't even know where to look for stuff. But there is a sequence of how you can, learn. And that is told in the section, how to use this site. Isn't that convenient? Isn't it convenient that people are confused about the website, but there's a tab on the website about how to use the site that people don't click? It's amazing how Moors, give you stuff. You know what I mean? Loyal, faithful, whatever the good Moors Nobudrali talked about. They just give you stuff. And then people miss stuff. Right? It's not you. It's the brainwash. We understand. You know what I mean? That's why we do what we do. We talk what we talk, because we already know, it's a lot. But, it's only a lot if you make it that. This thing is real simple. Think and save yourself. It's real simple. You're not Negro, black, colored, or Ethiopian. All right? What am I? And then you go check. When you check, you realize who you are. When you realize who you are, you realize that, okay, well, based on who I am, all my information should come from a particular source based on who I am. I can't be, basketball guy and want a hockey coach to show me basketball. I mean, it's useless, right? You need a ball coach, right? Melanated Moorish Empress. There's Islam Kudro. I wanted to share some information. There's a wave of schools and universities banning U.S history. Below is a link regarding this ban in Oklahoma. So, nymag.com, 2015, why Oklahoma lawmakers want to ban U.S. history. Crazy. So check that one out. So apparently they're banning U.S. history in America. Wonder why. Wonder what's going on that they're banning U.S. history. Just like people are abandoning U.S. citizenship and abandoning U.S. schools and stuff like that, because people realizing that it's a fraud. Abandoning U.S. government, abandoning U.S. treasury bonds. It should let people know what's going on. You know what I mean? It should let people know what's going on. Last but not least, Quran classes are starting next Thursday, January 12th, 2017. The last sign-up date for these classes will be February 3rd, 2017. Remember, this is a 6-month curriculum, and there is a testing available for those who seek to earn their official Great Seal degree on the Circle 7. The classes will be free and posted for all to see. However, the testing itself will be 50 notes. If you are seeking to be a minister professionally, there will be a more advanced test available for 70 notes. Upon passing your test, you will then receive your Great Seal degree. Please email moorbook@activemoors.com, MOORBOOK @activemoors.com for your own invitation to our Moorbook Learning Forum, or if you have any other questions pertaining to this subject matter. Continue to assist in uplifting fallen humanity Moors. Yours in love and honor, Sharice L. So the Great Seal, National Association of Moorish Affairs in Khalifa territory, in conglomeration with Great Seal, New York, and Great Seal anywhere else, right, is putting together their Quran classes because people, you know, need assistance in navigating through the Quran. So Circle 7 classes. More book at activemoors.com. More book at activemoors.com. Don't forget, join us today, 9:30 p.m. MHHS Eyes Wide Open on Blog Talk Radio. Call-in number 319-527-6751. 319-527-6751, 9:30 p.m. Make sure you call in early because, you know, them lines fill up fast. Watch My Prophecies. New book, khalifamedia.com. khalifamedia.com. We will have the Al Moroccan compilation album on willofallah.com by next week for all those people who've been waiting for that. Triple disc compilation album featuring, you know what I mean, Canaanland more MCs, poets, singers, spoken word artists, reggae artists, you know what I mean, just doing what we do, beats and vibrations, so that our people who are Moorish American or who want to know about Moorish American can have some hip hop relative to their nationality and their birthrights. As well, don't forget, this weekend, Noble Drew Ali Day, 7th annual Noble Drew Ali Day this weekend. We got Seton Rabe in town. We got Brother Ras Ben in town. And we also have Brother Morris Bey doing the first Mo Ager Hoop School, the first ever Mo Ager Hoop School Basketball Elite Skills Camp, presented by Moorish Science Temple of America Education, and the Moorish Culture Club. It's this weekend. Canaanland Moors. This is on to all the Moors who are going to be present, you know, for our festivities this weekend. For all the Moors who aren't able to be present, don't worry, you know what I mean? We'll work on, you know what I mean, doing stuff, getting stuff going on. As well, April, it's already official, going to be in Seattle, right? We'll get the word out on that with regard to that lecture. And just confirmed today, we're going to be in Virginia at the House of Consciousness in Norfolk, Virginia, February 3rd, 4th, and 5th weekend. So all the Moors, wherever you're at, if you can get to Virginia, come on down. We're having another session. You know what I mean? Another out-of-town session. You know what I mean? You already know what we do, Moors, when it's out-of-town party time, right? So 3rd, 4th, 5th weekend of February, going to be out in Virginia lecturing at the House of Consciousness. Islam to Sister Drea. Islam to all the Moors in VA that made that manifest. You know what I mean? We're about to go down. Let's close out with our prayer. Don't forget, this Sunday, we're not sure about the internet at the spot where we're doing Drew Ali Day, but trust, if we do have internet, we will be streaming some of the day. We'll be streaming some of the festivities, so keep your eyes open on Sunday for that possibility. Again, Islam to all the Moors, peace and love worldwide. We'll just close out with our prayer. 5 on the left, 2 on the right. Allah, the Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is my protector, my guide, and my salvation, by night and by day, through his holy prophet, Noble Drew Ali. Islam, Ashe. Peace and love To all the Moors, and to all a good night.